There's a very thin line of difference between being a show-off and being yourself, right? The Western culture is very extreme on the being yourself, right? So much so that we think that they are showing off. Are you with me? Is it because they are actually showing off, or because where we come from our positioning? It's because where we are coming from our position, because we are all meek and mild, the humble, we are the doers, we are the followers rather than the leaders, and this is all perception. And over a period of time, these perceptions get built, right? What we want to do is, we want to change those perceptions, okay? And this is a topic that is relevant, as you also validated, for all of us. This is a topic that is relevant for our director. Are you with me? This is a topic that is relevant for everybody in the office, because everybody needs to position ourselves. So that's the topic. But having said that as a topic, I want to pose the problem statement. The problem statement. Any of you have read this book, Funky Business? By these two professors are Stockholm School of Business professors. Okay? And this is a statement that is pulled out from this particular book. Let me give you the problem statement. The problem statement, and let me read it in its verbatim. The problem statement is this. The surplus society, which is the society that we are living in, has got a surplus of similar companies, employing similar people, with similar educational backgrounds, working in similar jobs, coming up with similar ideas, producing similar things with similar prices and similar quality. Isn't this a problem statement? Even when it comes to the B school? Now I know that this year we are going to get into the FT ranking, right?
We have been.
You have been through. So the results will come up. Or is it come up? It's gone. So you get it. Then after you get it. And I personally don't see a paradigm shift between that Ivy League institution or the creme de la creme and the one that is 25 notches below. I personally have not seen that. I'm sure there are parameters that are there which will, when I do the fine comb, when I do the micro analysis, there will be something. But on the face of it, there is no big difference. So actually it is similar. When I say the top 100, it is similar. Of course, the next 100 is a different thing. It will be unfair to compare a 200 to the top 10. Are you with me? But having said that, in that pocket, it is the same. You look at computers. Any computer, which is a branded computer, is as good as any other branded computer. You ask IBM, they say, no, we are different. You ask Dell, they say, no, we are different. Yeah, what are they different in? Ask Lenovo, what are they different in? Some category C item. I don't know if you remember, Compaq used to advertise, what are they different in? The color of the box or some stupid thing like that. Right? So it is not a category A difference. But the challenge that you all have as B school students is, when placement time comes, we are wanting 5 people, or 4 people, or 10 people, or 15 people. I don't know the number, right? It depends on the need. Let us say we want 15 people, and you are presenting 50 people. The question that we will ask is, which 15 will we take? The question that you will ask is, can I be in that 50, right? The unfortunate thing, and this is where I have to be very careful and be respectful of the people who do the interview, the unfortunate thing is, I've been on the interviewing side for a good 20 years out of my 30 years of my career. I can tell you, there are no good companies who do structured interviews. Are you with me? They do what you call, they just do a process. So there is no scientific process to ensure that the best candidate has got the best job. Now I'm giving you a lot of secrets out, So there's no scientific process. I'll give you the program that I went through. Now I'd like to claim credit, but I can't. I should not. Years ago, in 1982, I got selected for a then management training program for a TCM management training. None of you, this generation, will not know, but you probably know, and some of the seniors will know. The program was purely, God's gift to mankind kind of a program. You know what I mean? Everybody would give their right arm to go for that program. Just to give you an example, 16,842 applicants was there in the year in which I applied also. 13 of them got selected. Your studio was one of them. Now, it's a pride statement, or so I think. But a friend of mine, he came and he drilled sanity into me. He said, Anand, and the way he started, was a little bit uncomfortable. He said, even if you are that good. So what was the assumption? Okay. So even if you are that good, you could have well been the 14th person who could not get selected. Proof. That brought sanity. Are you with me? So even if you are that good, you could have well been the 14th person that did not get selected. So we need to understand the element of trial and error. There is that positioning that makes a difference. There is that impression management. We call that the elevator speed, right? There is something that just makes an impression in the minds of the interviewer, in the minds of the selector. Now, some of you may have consciously worked towards it, but most of you have not consciously worked towards it. I'll give you a simple example. In my earlier company, I went to IIM Calcutta for recruitment, and we got the day one slot, and you all know how this day one business. Day one is 24 hours. Right? So I got my slot at 2:30 in the morning, early morning. Which is still day one, right? But everybody cheats. You understand the system, right? So we got day one, 2:30 in the morning. So anyway, we went from the hotel, we got a call from the TPO, we went. And here was this person, suddenly he said, oh, well, HCL will come. And the company was HCL, okay? The company that I was working for earlier, for good 14 years. So the guy got pulled. And we said, okay, these were the biodatas that we have selected. So the students who were there in the placement thing, they pulled out the guy. And this guy came in and he rushed, come on, they're waiting. So he came in. So we just said, we asked a question, and the question is, why do you, or why should we consider you? So this guy, he said, he started off. So first of all, I have got FMCG in my blood. I have done that for a living. Plus, guess what? I have, done my summers in FMCG. My father was blah, 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 distributor, blah, 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 and he just went on and on. So then I said, man, who's he trying to impress? FMCG. And I do not know if he was briefed properly. So we said, so how will your FMCG experience, how will your FMCG summers help us select you? So this guy said, because after all, you're also looking at distribution, you're also in the same product line, you're into toothpaste and you're into, soaps and blah, blah, blah. I said, do you know who we are? He said, HLL. I said, no, we are HCL. Then, so put yourself in that situation. That guy was pulled out at 2:30 early in the morning, down the corridor, and he said, what's HLL? What's HCL? So something, Now, this is where the chameleon character came. He said, sir, but it still is marketing. It still is marketing. Now, I wanted to tell him, listen, don't worry, we all make mistakes, it's okay, you've been briefed up. But sir, it still is marketing. I don't know why you think this is a mistake. I said, what do you mean? I think that is a mistake. See, I understand that you must be forceful. See, and during the recession time, you will cling on to that interview as if your life depended on it. I don't know how many of you have had that situation. How many of you, almost all of you will have prior work experience, right? So you remember that time? Boy, man, this is the one that I need to get. The reason why I'm giving you this example is for you to recognize and understand that there is an element called positioning. Do you think we are going to go for the CGPA? Do you think we are going to go for the toppers? No. I mean, too bad if somebody is in the top 5. I'm telling you. And I had this, I used to do guest lectures at IIM and I talked to Dr. Babu and I asked him this direct question. My earlier CEO and me, we went and asked him that question, and he said, listen, can you give us what is the correlation between the CAT topper and the IIM topper? There is a negative correlation. Understandably. Right? Because they went through entrance exam. It is the rote learning. Some institute. That was not as bad as the other one. What is the correlation between the IIM topper, the top 5, and what they are doing 5 years later? Is there a correlation? No. There could be a correlation, but in this case, he said no. There is no correlation. See, academic brilliance is different from professional performance. See, if I were to ask you to do a research, then what will happen? Which one do I go for? Academic. But I have seen a lot of people, they are toppers, and then we say, we give them a problem statement, they are fantastic in coming out with a concept note. Or what we also call term paper. You will be good in consulting companies. But in actual execution, then what happens? It's a different competence altogether. So you need to get yourself into that radar screen. So this is the challenge that we are having. The problem statement that we are having is, on placement day, all of you will be appearing equal. Are you with me? Because you may be looking different. No, that you is not a credit to you. See, whether you like it or not, you will be looking different. The question is that difference, your difference is making a difference to the problem statement. Somebody is tall, somebody is short, somebody is fat, somebody is thin. And all those things are differences that you have in you. Somebody is gifted, somebody is not, and so on, you can go on. But the problem statement is this, the problem statement is all of you will look similar. For the person on the other side. And that's where I want to ask you the question. The first question I want to ask you is, what is your identity? So when I ask you a question, who are you? What do you think you? Who are you?
I'm Arvind.
Arvind, I don't want your name.
Then what do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know who you are.
Okay, so what is the parameters for that?
No, I don't want to know who you are. I want to know who you are.
So I'm Arvind, I'm a student of ISP.
Yeah, I don't want your professional status.
My professional status, I'm a student.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So exactly the same question will be asked in a different form. And that question is, tell me more about yourself. And there are some people who, short of telling me, I'm just returning, it could be anybody, there are some people who, short of telling me who the midwife was or what the ward number was in which they were born, they give me a lot of personal details. So what is that question that I should have asked? You ask me back that question, right? Do you think you will be able to have the luxury of asking back that question when somebody says, tell me more about yourself? What the angle in which you want to know about myself? Are you going to ask? You will. Well, that will be famous last words. I'll give you one of them. In addition to the one that you have, the parachute is not working. So when the person is asking that question, tell me more about yourself, the person is basically asking another question. I've got a particular job. I don't know how to recruit. I want to know if you are having the qualities, the criteria that will make us consider you to be a suitable candidate for that. But nobody asks that question. They just ask what you think is an icebreaker question is a selection question. Tell me more about yourself. And in different categories, this answer is different. I'll give you my own embarrassment. 30 years ago, during this management training program, I was put into the marketing department as part of the rotation. I started my career as a Unix systems administrator. So in the marketing department, management training, everything, rotation, go for that. And one of that was advertising department. So me and my colleague who were doing the project, we were supposed to select a model. So the interview was for a model. And just like every other icebreaker question, we also asked the same question, tell me more about yourself. And she gave us mathematical figures. And then we had to fight the embarrassment and the blushing that was going through the two of us. And she was looking at us a straight face and said, what's wrong with you guys? You asked a question, I gave you an answer. But is she right? Moral, she's right, yeah. For that reason, that's correct. Obviously, there is one set of people who are novices and the other who's a professional in this interviewing process. So when I asked you, who are you? And it could be anybody. Tell me more about yourself. The personal branding will help you to tell the person more about yourself. It will help you craft the positioning statement. It will help you craft the elevator speed. And what we are going to do is get to arrive at that elevator speed. But you think it is your looks. Right? Sometimes, all young and in your college days, in your school days and all, you always want to think it's your looks. I'll give you a simple example. The tragedy that occurred for me was when I introduced myself, I give this long statement. Anand Pillai, born and brought up in Bangalore, but lived in Delhi for 27 years, and by virtue of working for the companies that I work for, I've traveled around the world and lived in a variety of countries. You know how people respond? You look like Sri Lankan. I also discovered my Sri Lankan origin about 8 years ago. How would happen was the Indian cricket team or the Sri Lankan cricket team were traveling from Delhi to Bangalore. And I was in that flight. The person who was sitting next to me in the flight was mighty thrilled that he's sitting next to me. And he's kind of feeling very, I'm sitting next to. I thought this must be some identity crisis. Every once in a while he's looking behind to see if the other people are noticing the fact that he is sitting next to me. I said, what is wrong with this guy? And he would smile, he wants to touch me, he wants to talk. All over. And if you want to know how frequent this was, it was once in every 7,892 nanoseconds. In fact, the frequency was so much that I began to question my marital state. And you also have to understand, this was in the year 2002, much before Section 370 was official. So it was really bad. Now I was wondering what is happening. Anyway, the flight landed in Bangalore, and the two of us, or along with the others, we were walking up to the terminal to collect the luggage. This guy pulled out his boarding pass and he said, "Sir, what is that?" I said, "Not bad." Finally, I took my pen and I signed. From one diagonal of the card to the other, Anand Pillai. He looked at my signature, he looked at my face and he said, "I'm sorry." So I said, "What are you sorry for?" He did not answer. He looked at the other passengers, and when I looked at the other passengers, lo and behold, from the passengers, I saw my brother coming. Any of you know my brother? He was once the captain of the Sri Lankan cricket. Well, it's a long story, let me cut it short. We got separated at birth. My brother was adopted by the Jaisuria family. And I was adopted by the Pillai family. And the rest is history. In fact, with this new discovery, I barged into the office, called all the friends and I said, "Guys, come along. I just want to declare." What declaration? I just discovered that Sanjay Jaisuria looks like me. You know what the guy said? Sometimes friends, they say certain things which leaves you in this depression. Or I need enemies when I got friends. I'm sure you have friends like that, right? So all of them, they said, "Anand, it is wrong for you to compare yourself with Sanjay Jaisuria." I asked him why. He said, "Because he's got a better face value." I said, "What you're saying is true. He definitely has a better face value. Fact is, he's got a bigger face value. Because every day in the morning, when he washes his face, it goes all the way there. I recognize that there are some people here who've got a better face value. But one day, one of these days, I'm going to go for a haircut, and I will have a haircut. So you need a little bit of imagination for that. I will have a hair to be cut. But that day I will come. So when this was happening, another friend, he came and he said, Anand, see, it appears like that to you. Fact is, there are at least 7 people in the world who look like you. Have you come across that statement? Listen, man, what do you want to kill my newfound joy? As far as I'm concerned, there is one and only one Anand Pillai in the world. There never was one before, there never will be one after. Oh, Anand, you're getting arrogant. I said, no, I'm getting confident. And the reason for my confidence is this: God does not repeat mistakes. No, having said that, why am I telling that in a branding class? The reason I'm saying that is I want this truth to sink in. God has made each one of us as a first-class original. Don't die a second-grade copy. What is your originality? What is your individual signature? What is your DNA? Do you know it? Well, that was the question that I asked you. Right? Identity management is a very big management for companies. When I mention the word IBM, what comes to your mind? Computers, smarter planet, right? Or whatever. When I mention the word Xerox, what comes to your mind? Photocopy. But is that what they are? No, they are fighting that identity. Identity management is a very, very big component. When I mention the word Mother Teresa, what comes to your mind? Sacrifice, charity. Your identity is determined long after you are gone. When I mention Mahatma Gandhi, what comes to your mind? Non-violence, ahimsa, sacrifice. But that identity is fused long after you are gone. Long after you are gone. And that person, he or she may form or crystallize that identity not under the best of circumstances, but rather under the worst of circumstances. Because we are all, you have a definition of luck. What is the definition of luck? The right person at the right time, with the right opportunity, right everything. No. It is how you respond to that situation. Imagine, what do you think Mahatma Gandhi would have been if he was born and brought up in independent India? One more failed lawyer. At best, he would have been a father of 4 children. Not the father of the nation. Right? And think about it. I'll give you one more. What do you think Mother Teresa would have been if she was born and brought up in Beverly Hills, California? Some imaginations are running wild. It is your identity is fused and formed and crystallized not in the best of circumstances, but in the worst of. So look for that. My definition of luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. So you think your identity is your achievements, right? Your own achievements. So my CGPA. I'll give you my own story. The school in which I graduated, I was judged the best all-round student. Where I did curricular activities, extracurricular activities, and for whatever reason, the school continued for 10 more days after this declaration. Boy, I tell you, for one, school going was a great desire. And you have to understand, it was a co-ed school. So everybody, autograph, photograph, I mean, man, your works. Who? Anand Pillai, the Pedigree was the founder of the school, so the all-round student, best all-round student would get that. For some strange reason, after 5 years of my completion of the school, I had to get a certificate, I had to go back to the school. But the thoughts of me going back to the school where I was judged, the best all-round student, was a welcoming thought. Immediately clouds started forming. You understand clouds? Full, all extrapolation happened there. Everything. Oh man, people will line up. Oh, this is going to happen, that is going to happen. All those hopes came to a grinding halt at the gate itself when the watchman asked me, who are you? I said, man, you don't know me? Anand Pillai. I said, best all-round student. It's okay. I mean, for the watchman, what does it matter? And then I told him, I was decorated. Whom do you want to meet? Principal. You have an appointment? Huh? Me? Anand Pillai? Me? You need to have an appointment? Yes. Don't go to the principal's room. Go to the PA's room. I was very insulted. So I thought I would go display myself to the students who are my juniors. They will recognize me. None of them recognized me. So let me go to the staff room. I went to the staff room, the physics teacher, the chemistry teacher and the English teacher were coming out. And as they were coming out, I went and displayed myself. I said, ma'am, do you remember me? The chemistry teacher with a broad smile, she said, Anand, how can we forget you? Hopes returned. Until she completed the sentence. Anand, how can we forget you? You are the one who locked us in the room. That's when I painfully realized the next moment of truth. You are remembered how you are touched or impacted people's lives. Now this is going to be asked in your, tell me incidents in your life. For example, you're going to tell your strengths, right? And all have got canned answers, right? You give your weaknesses as if it is your strength. You all know it, right? I've been on both sides of the interview, so I know it too. So you know that. Can you give me an example of how this strength came in? Strength? What is a strength, sir? Yeah, strength. Where was it put to use? How did you influence people? How did you impact? If I were to ask your failure in resume, how many of you would have one? What is it that you learned from your failure? How did you influence people's lives? Because that is going to be an answer. And that is what you need to get to develop. So we need to go forward and get into this branding. The branding is a set of what we are. It's a combination of our strengths, it's a combination of our passion, our gifts, and our purpose to the workplace. What is the purpose? For example, why do you want to work? If that question is asked, don't give the motherhood answer. Because we are asking for a question that is original. Because, you're a consulting company, you're a top five, or you're a financial institution, or some, canned answer. What is the question that you need to answer is, are you having a combination of your gifts, a strength, fiction to that particular space? I'm going to skip all these things. You have to develop your personal brand. How are you going to develop your personal brand? It is basically a simple statement that will help you put together your unique strengths. Now, if you give us answer which is very similar to somebody else's, then what happens? Do you think the interviewer will know your name 2:30 in the morning? And do you think the decision will be taken on the spot? What do you think? It will not be taken on the spot. It will not be taken on the spot. It will be zeroed in. But they'll go back to the room and they'll discuss it with the colleagues. Oh, that guy with the brown t-shirt. That's what they'll remember. Right? Or the guy who thought you were HLL. No, I'm telling you, you will not know the name. So, I'm giving the other side of the story. That guy who insisted in getting this point across. I was interviewing one candidate. She was arguing with me for the entire duration of the interview. The HR person was also there. Sorry, we brought this candidate. It was a dropout case, but since you insisted in seeing everybody, we brought her also. I said, no, I want to take that candidate. Because she is thinking completely differently. So we need to recognize and understand how the person positions himself or herself. Now I'll ask you a question. What is common between all these people? They have a brand. So I'm saying your brand could be a positive brand or a negative brand. Research shows that an average person influences about 16,800 people in his or her lifetime. 95% of them are unconscious influences. The way you are. For example, the way you sit in the interview, the way you walk, the way you study, everything. You will cross the road and influence the person without knowing. The way you reacted to somebody else who brought it in on you. The question that you need to ask is, how am I going to condition my influence? How am I going to put my individual signature onto that problem statement? Because they are having a recognition. They want to recruit somebody. How am I going to make sure that I am that person? So the answer to that is, I'll give you 5 guidelines. I'll give you 5, 3, and 5. Okay? What are the Gallup has given us these guidelines? What are these 5 guidelines? The first guideline is, it is called yearning. I'm going to give you explanation of each one of them. What is your yearning? That is what will determine who you are. The second one is your rapid learning. Where are you getting your rapid learning? It can happen in your own class. It can happen in a particular subject. The third one is your flow. In what steps do you get naturally the flow? We'll get into the details of this. The fourth one is glimpses of excellence. You're doing something and suddenly you get a spark of excellence. So much so that you say, oh man, how did I do that? Have you come across that? You have not been trained, you have not been qualified, you have not read that, but you did it. Right? Howard Gardner actually calls it the theory of multiple intelligence. In fact, he gives a very simple guideline. The people are all intelligent based on IQ test, right? He says no. IQ is not the measure of a person's intelligence. They are intelligent numerically. They are intelligent socially. They are intelligent verbally. So different forms of intelligence. Have you, any of you read Howard Gardner's book? The theory of multiple intelligence, where he gives the different forms of intelligence. For example, William Wordsworth and Shakespeare have got the same words that you and I have. Yet they can pen better prose and poetry than any one of us can. For example, social intelligence. Have you come across people, they go into a group and then they suddenly win friends. In 5 minutes, they've got what we call the Winston quality. And they don't have to read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Right? Then there are others too who have to read another book which is yet to be written. How to win back all the friends have influenced. And that means that is not there in their DNA. It is just not there. That is not in their dictionary. And the fifth one is satisfaction. You do something, you get a sense of satisfaction. I mean, you don't get tired. Your definition of rest is doing that activity which will give you energy rather than sap you of that energy. That is what will give you. Now let's go through these 5 ones. First one, yearning. In what kinds of activities are you naturally drawn? You wake up in the middle of the night and you suddenly want to, do something, want to read about that subject. That's a natural, as if it is magnetism. Write that down. That will give you an indication of possible personal brand. The second one is rapid learning. What kinds of activities do you seem to pick up quickly? Now you've got a variety of subjects, right? Some subjects, boy, you study, and then after you study, still nothing happens. I'm sure there are subjects. And are the subjects the same for everybody? No, for different people it is different. Right? But for some people, it just comes naturally to you. For others, oh man, you get the greatest lecturer in that particular subject, he or she comes and talks. Still, slightly easier but not good enough. The third one is flow. In what activities did the steps come to you automatically as if it was hardwired in your brain? Have you come across some people who got a mechanical intelligence? You give them a gadget, for somebody, you give them a gadget, give a detailed instruction, give a detailed demo, give a detailed manual, and still they are not able to figure it out. For others, they look at it. Yeah, I got it. It comes automatically. In some subjects, for example, you got a case study. You want to discuss that. And suddenly, automatically, the flow comes to you. Ask yourself that question. Where is the flow? The next one is glimpses of excellence. During what activities do you have moments of that subconscious excellence where you say, how did I do that? And then, the next question, when can I do that again? So these are indications. Immediately after finishing them, you ask, oh, why can I do that again? These are all indications that you are having traits which is leading you to a personal brand. Before your placement interview, you need to prepare these things. Then go forward. The important thing is you need to have a sense of appreciation of your talents. The problem with many of us is, sometimes what happens is, we look at somebody else, I wish I had that. No. I wish for example, some of you will say, oh, I wish I could talk to this guy. I had a friend of mine who said, I wish I could talk like so-and-so. Because he describes health in such a way that people are looking forward to the journey. No, that's not what you want. Don't look for, remember our initial statement, God has made each one of us as a First class original. Don't buy a second-hand copy. Don't desire what somebody else has got. You must have a sense of appreciation of your own talent. Because unless you are proud in yourself, if you are not proud in yourself, what will happen? Do you think others will be proud? No way. If you are not proud of the way you solve a problem, if you are not proud about your skill, do you think others will be proud about your skill? And the simple question that I ask is, take one look at the mirror every day in the morning. Do you like the person on the other side? What's your answer? You better. There are some people who don't like it, so they go for a facelift. I know a person, she went for so many facelifts, she's now talking to her nose. You are not happy. Now that's what on the lighter side, but in reality, your qualities, are you happy? Or I tell you about myself, I'm so happy. You know, on my birthday, I call up my mom and say, congratulations, mom, good job! Wow! I mean, you need to have that sense of pride in who you are and what you are becoming. Rather than saying, I was born in this family. Do you think you'll be able to have a positive self-image? You must have a sense of appreciation of your talent. Now let's talk about 3 sacrifices. What are the 3 sacrifices? The first sacrifice is you must sacrifice affirmation for accomplishment. Don't go for the public opinion. Don't go for the public opinion. Because if you go for the public opinion, what will happen? You will be pleasing others. You look for affirmation. That's very important. Fundamentally, leadership revolves around adding value, not getting a yes. The second one is sacrifice security for significance. Many of us will do things because it puts us in the comfort zone. Right? Get into what gives you significance. And sometimes the significance could be to challenge the status quo. I'll give you a simple example. The Wright brothers said this. You know what they said? They said, if everything that is accepted as the truth, if everything that is believed to be true is accepted as the truth, there will be little scope for innovation. Now, what was accepted or believed to be true at that point in time? People cannot fly. So the comfort zone is, oh, people cannot fly, why try? Right? That is security. But then they went for significance. Exchange security for significance. The third one is exchange immediate victory for long-term sustainability. Don't go for immediate victory. How many times do we study so that you can only remember the following day? Get into long-term sustainability. Because in the real world, you are not going to be asked questions about your subject. Nobody is going to ask you what is strategy. Definitely. They are not going to ask you 4 P's. No. They don't even know what to look like. They don't want all the 9 steps or 6 steps of John Carter on change. They want you to implement change. So exchange short-term victory, the immediate results for long-term sustainability. As you do that, let me give you this concept of white spaces. All of you know this concept of white spaces. Marketing, have you taken marketing? Yeah, what is white spaces? Any of you?
Opportunities.
Opportunities.
White spaces are person's perception which is not occupied by anything outside. It's free for you to occupy.
Free for you to occupy. In the marketing term white spaces. Okay?
Untapped segments.
Untapped segments. In fact, the best way to understand white spaces, read this book, Blue Ocean Strategy. Chan Kim and René Mopa. What is the byline of that book? How to go for uncontested market space and make competition irrelevant. So white spaces are spaces, if you want to give a definition, white spaces is an area where the company's strategy is, or its authority is vague, and where useful entrepreneurial activity can flourish. The simple question, all of you have got prior work experience, the simple question that I want to ask you is, everything that should be done in a company, is that divided into distinctive departments? What is your answer? Everything that the company is having as a problem statement or a business need, is that solvable by distinctive departments? No. There are a lot of areas which is overlap, and there are many areas which is not addressed by any one of them. Right? So white spaces are there. In fact, fact, as you get into the real world, you will get into a problem. What is that problem? The problem is, how can I not step onto somebody's toes? But on the other hand, if you know about white spaces, but prior to white spaces, what should you know? Your individual signature, because you will be able to see those white spaces. And the white spaces that you see will be different from the white spaces that somebody else will see. For that, I'll give you a statement, and that statement is simply this. It's a little bit philosophical, but I'll say it slowly. Eyes cannot see and the ears cannot hear what the mind does not perceive. I'll give you an example. A few months ago, we were talking about upgrading or buying another fridge. We were talking about this door fridge, that day fridge, one Saturday afternoon. And suddenly, that day evening, in the TV, there were a lot of fridge advertisements. The story doesn't end there. Next day morning in the newspaper, there were a lot of fridge advertisements. The question that we asked is, how come they came to know about our discussion? What is the answer? We did not see that. So white spaces are opportunities that you will be able to see. What is the precondition to see white spaces? I need to know my DNA. Because then I will be able to see that which is going forward. So let me give you how to consolidate your white spaces. I'm going to get into this. First one is map your own ability to get this. So how to create the individual signature. First one, study the business and map it to your passion. So a potential target company, whatever is the company, okay, do some homework, however bad the rush is. Don't become like a guy who said, I am FMCG. I mean, I've got so much FMCG in my blood. I mean, every logical extent of my body is losing all of it. Yeah, sometimes you get into that. Don't have a one-size-fits-all answer. The people on the other side will see you through. So study the business. Whatever is the company, visit their website. Do you think you have an excuse in today's Google world? No. Study a little bit of background. Study the business and map it to your passion. Second one is create a big entry barrier for yourself. Don't worry about somebody else. You put yourself as a benchmark. Now I know the competition will say I must be better than somebody else. No, that is not. You need to be better than yourself. The third one is make sure that you move towards a particular position rather than away from a particular position. If you have a particular target in mind, a dream company, a dream industry, move towards that decisively. Dr. Ken Blanchard talking about a vision statement, he says the objective of a vision statement is you are so sure about what you want to achieve that you move ahead decisively despite all obstacles. Now, I'll tell you, some people, it's not my style, but some people's interviewing style is they will rub you on the wrong side in the interview. Have you had that kind of a situation? They'll put you off. They'll basically destabilize you. Right? Now, if you are zeroed in onto that particular purpose statement, if you are moving towards that, as a result of your passion, you are a winner. If you are not, what will happen to you? Because we are all human beings, right? Naturally, you will get discouraged. Naturally, you will get put off. It's quite possible. So you want to move away from something. Instead, if you got that target zeroed in on you, you will move ahead decisively despite all obstacles. And the fourth one is network with value adders and not with aggregators. And this means friends, this means internet, this means books also. How many times have you read a book and at the end of the day, what is this author trying to say? Have you come across that feeling? What is this article trying to say? That is an aggregator. Have you spent time with friends and all that you have spent this time and not gained anything? It can happen to anybody. When you are networking, you know, there's a book written by Charlie Jones. It's called The Tremendous Life. In fact, the book became so successful, he's nicknamed as Charlie Tremendous Jones. In fact, there is one quotation, and the quotation is this: you will be what you are now, you will be 5 years from now, what you are today, if you don't change your reading habits and the people whom you move with and network with. Have you had a situation as a result of you networking with a category of friends, your thought leadership has improved? Have you had that situation? And today's open world, I mean, there are so many LinkedIn groups, there are so many Google groups, there are so many discussion groups. You don't have to have a physical network. You can cut across boundaries. Are you with me? You can choose your friends based on the number one. What is the number one? Your passion area. See, it's quite easy for us to while away our time. But are you moving in that direction? And the fifth one is create your own blue ocean. Again, I'll skip all these things and let me get to the blue ocean. The x-axis and the y-axis. This is the career map. The blue ocean strategy, how does it work? It works with you having got your value on the y-axis, x-axis, and cost or effort on the y-axis. How many of you read about blue ocean strategy? One, two. Okay, let me give you the grid. This is the grid that is there in the blue ocean strategy. In fact, these terms are there: eliminate, reduce, raise, and create. Okay. And what is the example that is given in blue ocean strategy? Which company example is given? You have read it?
That was a long time ago.
Long time back. Southwest Airlines is one of the examples. This one, Cirque du Soleil is another example. NetJets is another example. There are so many examples. Let's take Southwest Airlines. Anything, I mean, that's something that all of us can relate to. The nearest example of that is in India, Indigo. Okay, it's a low-cost airline. So let us look at an airline. In an airline, what is that which is lower value of the various services that they give and high in cost or effort? Food. Right? It is low in value. Why is it low in value? Because, I mean, you can get it somewhere else. Why is it high costly? Because it takes, first of all, variety. Secondly, there is a particular weight and that weight has not a fuel implications. To heat it or refrigerate it, you use electricity? No, you use aviation fuel, which is extremely costly. And that space would have been used for some other passenger. It's extremely costly. Now, is there anybody who decides an airline based on the food? For example, now I need to have dinner. So let me look at which airline gives good food. Is there anybody in that category? Tomorrow morning I need to have breakfast. Which airline gives good food? No, that's a category C item. So they have eliminated it. Right? Then you go to those other things, hygiene factors, which is relatively low in value and relatively low in cost or effort. For example, interior decor of an airline. Does it matter whether the seats are made of red leather or any leather or fabric? No. You remember? Kingfisher wanted to go into the red, they went red. In the seats. Not necessary at all. Reduce that. So look at your activities in your day-to-day student life. There are a lot of things that is low in value as a student, right? But is high in cost and effort. Eliminate those activities in your life. If you want to go into the right-hand side, first learn to eliminate. Because you can't raise without eliminating. Otherwise you must be a Superman. You must learn to eliminate those clutter. I call this the relative principle. Not Albert Einstein relative. I give you my relative principle. My relative principle is simply this. You do something for your relatives, they will misunderstand you. Why? Because you have not done enough. You do nothing for them, they will misunderstand you. Because you did nothing. Better do nothing and better misunderstand you. Now, this is my principle, don't take it to logically. But I'm just giving you an example. In your day-to-day activities, there are a lot of activities which, whether you do it or not, it doesn't matter. Each person will have different activities. Just eliminate that clutter. Because you will have to eliminate to get into the next one. Again, in the airline industry, what is high in value for the airline, for the passenger, and high in cost for effort?
Timeliness.
Timeliness. Why is it costly? I mean, we know it's valuable. Why is it costly? Why is on-time travel costly for the airline? Yes?
Not a moving piece.
Not a move basis. If there is something called MTBF, you have to reduce the MTBF, mean time between failure, which means you have to keep the maintenance up to the mark. And what about the cleanliness? Your ground staff will have to be super efficient and high in value.
Culture.
Culture. Very good example. Customer service. For example, does it cost a lot Or does it take a lot of effort to smile? Yes, no, maybe a group of people. Ask Indian Airlines. I mean, man, they go through labor pains to smile. But if you have got your signature, and the other thing that you need to recognize and understand, that which you create out of your individual signature, which is low in cost or effort for you, will be high in cost or effort for somebody. Are you with me? For example, for me, Abhimanyu, one day he came to my cabin and he asked, Anand, can you speak at short notice? So I said, what, you want me to come out of the room and speak? He said, no, 10 days later. So that's what, for some people, they'll go through harrowing experience. So that which is high effort for one person will be low effort for another person. Are you able to relate to this? So this individual signature, that which is low in effort for you, will be high in effort for somebody else. And that's why you are creating your differentiator. Once you do this, then you move on. On the other hand, if you create this ocean for yourself, you know you've got a unique position. Assuming hypothetically, the interviewer says, I want only one person. And you will be that one person. And you will do other equations before I close. You need to understand the concept of stress. Stress is equal to effort by value. So if you want to reduce your stress, what do you do? Reduce your effort? Increase the value. How will you increase the value? Go back. Study the business, map it to your passion, because you will be able to increase value. You know the blue ocean grid. You will be able to create value in a unique way. That question will be able to answer in a different way. The second big equation is focus. Impact. How are we going to increase impact? Increase the effort? Reduce the area. Zero in on that one opportunity. That dream company, the dream industry. Don't say anything will do. You must have a goal. You must, because you have, how many more months do they have before placement? Before actual completion of course? March. So you got another 5 months? 5 months you got. If you got that dream company, you will move ahead decisively. And unfortunately, you don't have summers. And therefore, you will have to have only your electives. How you take your cases, how you do your reading, how you do your networking. There's a lot that is going to be decided between now and the next 5 months. Don't spread your efforts thin. When I say efforts could be across industries, across departments. Have a zeroed-in target. Because if you can't get that which you're zeroed in on, don't try to de-risk your portfolio. Are you with me? FMCG and IT industry. HCL or HLL. No. Zero in. For some reason, if that particular company does not select you, what will happen? You stand a higher chance of getting into the next one. Consolidate your personal brand. A brand position is coming when you are focused. With that, I close. This is my Twitter ID. Any questions? No, please, you must. Whatever your question, one or two. Yes.
One important thing to have a brand and kind of showcase it in front of everybody is to know of it. It will happen automatically.
Correct.
Or what one hour is maybe conscious of it.
Now conscious. So that you can work on it. But it becomes so much that it becomes unconscious. You know what the definition of habit is? Anybody? Definition of habit? Yes. Something that becomes so natural that it is unconscious, right? So it must become part of you. Immediately after this, if somebody asks you a question, you are conscious of it, right? But over a period of time, it is you. I am me. For example, can you prepare for an aptitude test? Yes, no, maybe I do some research. No, you can't. It is who you are. You can't prepare for an, that's what you are. You can prepare for a subject test. Aptitude test is who you are. I'm just telling you to consolidate who you are so that when you do come, you are your natural self and not your conditioned self. It should come out naturally. Talk about naturally, I'll give you the definition of habit. That which you do consistently so much so that it becomes unconscious. For example, when you were children, I had this bad habit of eating my toothpaste. Because it was nice. So my mom would give one day, no, you're not supposed to give brush. Does somebody have to tell me that today? And all of us men, when we get up in the morning, children, when we dress up, I did not dress in the proper order. You are going to have three-piece suit, right? Shirt, pant, and whatever else. So I would not wear it in the proper order for whatever reason. Kid, So my mom would say, first you wear this, then you wear this. Right? And that's why all of us are men, otherwise we'll be Superman now. Are you getting the point? Now you are conscious, yes. But when you write down all those things, and you practice it, it's unconscious. So much so that unconditioned, suddenly, in the middle of supposing, let us say, I come for a guest lecture. Okay? I bump into you. And I have a chat with you. Do you think that's an interview? You don't think so. But in my case, it is. You never get a second chance to make a good first impression. So you are good in structured, conditioned interview because you can prepare for it. Right? But I'm asking you to be yourself. The simple statement that I want to tell you is, be yourself because everybody is taken. Are you getting the point? Just be yourself. Everybody else is taken. So, it does appear. I mean, I can identify with you, I can empathize with you, but if it still appears, then you are faking it. Okay? Any other questions? Yes?
So the takeaway from this is what? Are we supposed to look into the mirror and see something which we are not, or project something which we are not?
No, what are from the cat family?
Because you would get into trouble if you try to do
So
something.
one person asked me, is that a mirror or is that a window? So I'm just saying, you both are from the cat family, you're not a mouse. Right? You both are from the cat family. So just project the fierceness. I don't know how many of you know this. This is a research that has been done in, I think, by the University of Minnesota students in one zoo. Cat can scare away a lion. How?
By holding a mirror. Maybe if it's a mother and her.
No. By just staying consistent. But not forever, for a moment. Just a moment. It is called the primal scream. This particular research is called the primal scream. That is, just before you're going to die, you will put in so much energy that the other person will want off. In fact, what they did was, they put a monkey, this was not a cat, but they put a monkey in one cage, and they put a lion in the next cage. Monkey and lion. So the monkey, as usual, will tease the lion. Go, jump, track, and then we go, tack, and then go. And what they did was, they intentionally put one side of the cage, with the dividing one, intentionally they unlocked it. So this time when from that side it came and landed on this, what happened? Well, got into the lion's cage. And the lion, got irritated, is coming slowly towards that. Right? And they've got the video also. I don't know if the video is uploaded in YouTube. This was done way before the YouTube days. And they show this, the monkey screams so harshly, the decibel level is so high that for a moment, the lion gets scared. Immediately they close the door. Upwards the lion will upwards. Make it fast food. That's a different thing. But just that moment. So what I'm trying to say is be yourself. Because if you are yourself. I mean, it's suppose you lose it. You don't make it in the interview. Do you think you have any regrets? It was not there in me. Otherwise you say, oh, I wish I said that. I remember. No. Because you canned yourself. So basically this message is here.
Thank you.
Yes. One other question about, yes.
So I mean, there was this slide of yours where you said how to identify your passion.
Right.
I did read an article which spoke about creating passions that you do not have. Do you really believe that?
Yeah, this is all that motivational theory business. You know, dream it, you can do it, kind of a thing. Yes, I do agree. There is an element that is there, but it is very unlikely that you will be able to do something that is not there in your DNA. All these theories that they actually get to is bring out the hidden you. It brings out the hidden you. So all I'm saying is these are the things that you crystallize in yourself. The problem with many of us is we have not discovered ourselves. We have not done a conscious exercise on ourselves. See, even we school students, we spend years of research on some problem, somebody else's problem rather than us. How many of us have spent even one entire week analyzing ourselves? Taking a video of ourselves, how we eat, why we get excited about something, why certain things we are learning fast, why we are not. Have we done that? We have not. So I'm just saying, take yourself seriously. I get my point. You take some company seriously, you take yourself seriously. You do case studies of other people. Right? Do a case study of yourself. Understand yourself, because that is what is going to come across. Not only, you don't want to be a square peg in a round hole, right? Forget about you getting a job. Supposing you get a job by all these drama, do you think you will end up in the job that is cut out for you? If you are not done your DNA mapping, you will not. I am talking about not getting a job. I am talking about you being successful. I am talking about you leaving an individual signature where you are. I tell you, it took years for me. My first job was a Unix systems administrator. I started off as a Unix systems administrator. When I passed out in Indian Institute of Science, I was one in 82 people who knew Unix in the year 1982. Tata Burroughs, the company that I worked for, after 4 years when I wanted to change, they said, no, you can't change because you've got 4 years of experience in Unix. I said, no, I want to follow my passion. And today I am where I am. I moved into product management, product development, operations, program management, quality. Only the last 9 years I've been in leadership development. So if you go, have you read this book, The 7 Stages of a Man's Life? When does the stage of significance come in a man's life? Beginning or towards the end? It is towards the end when you get to realize, when you reflect. The problem with life is lived forward, but history is written backward. Because all of you will ask one question, and that one question is, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done things differently. See, you are lucky you are having a lecture like this, right? No, not because of me, I'm just telling you a self-realization. Supposing this was told you after you got your job, there was this character. So you just need to reflect on yourself. This is not a company PPT. Incidentally, I passed on 1 or 2 comments. This is entirely for you. So whether this is not how you get into Reliance. Are you with me? No, this is how you get into life and make a significance. Because I tell you one thing, I don't want people who are not suited for us. When I do come to the PPT, I'm going to talk about not the PPT, but I'm talking about the roles. That's a different thing, because we want people, and at that time we don't want you to fade into that role. Are you with me? Because of the recession or because of the offering or whatever, I'll tell you, I'll be very blunt. You will have what I call an MBA attitude, a large number of you. What is MBA? Money before all. There will be some of you who will even go to the extent of selling your soul to the highest bidder. That will happen, particularly if you have taken educational loans or if you have got some other compulsion. That will happen. That is necessity. That is law of life. So you will say, I am the best person. In fact, you will regret if you don't take me. You will not say that in that many words, but you will give that feeling, oh man, what happened? It will happen. But I tell you, it will not be a treatment. Soon you will become disengaged, you will become disengaged, it will happen. I am talking about how to develop yourself. This is a pure you-only exercise. I hope you understand that part of it. We are not selling a compromise. And this particular talk is not on even thought, any subject. But I want you to take that seriously. Because it is your own development. And there is enough material available on personal branding today. There's a lot that is available, so work on it. One more question before we close. Yes.
So what you told over here today seems like it's something which is built over time.
Yes.
So for instance, if we have to build in not immediate but say shorter effects also, a lot of stars seem to have, or a lot of conditions have to align.
Right.
So how does one best prepare for the intermediate steps?
So what you do is you've got 5 months right now. You prepare a particular target. First do those, the Gallup's 5 questions, the flow, the yearning, the satisfaction. You take that. Then you take the 5 points, move, study the business and market your passion. You got that. If you want, you can do it. And I will send you those 5 things for you. There's no problem there. So get to work on that. It is very unlikely that you find satisfaction in something that is not naturally yours. Are you with me? It is also very unlikely that you will find satisfaction in something that is not naturally flowing to you. How many of you find satisfaction in a job that is poorly done? Alright? You will find only excellence, right? So it's all correlated. And how many of you have got an ambition? I want to get up today, tomorrow morning, and make a mess of my life. Nobody wants. Right? So you all have this. I'm just giving you a structured questionnaire to arrive and zero in on that. Chances are, even after all that, you still may be confused. But you will be confused on a smaller canvas rather than a bigger canvas. That's all we are doing. Okay? My Twitter ID is there. I would love to interact with you. I have time. I'm sensitive to your time. So you can, if you want any one of those 5 things, please just tweet me, and I'll be more than happy. Thank you once again, and that's all.